when I look back at gold from 2020 to 2024, for 4 years almost, in one of the largest monetary debasements, the largest monetary injections we've seen in history, record inflation, like 3-4 decade record inflation, 9% CPI in the US, gold did nothing. Gold went zero. Gold didn't even move. So it's like, well, obviously wasn't responding to inflation or debasement or monetary stimulus. But then it started moving. And to me, it seemed more about the trust, as in counterparty risk, as in my ability to hold my wealth and transact that wealth over that. So I don't know if you have a take on that.
It's important to just lay it out there. For a very long time, the West has suppressed the price of gold, period. End of story. They've suppressed it for various reasons. My dear departed friend Jim Sinclair used to call things like that MOPE, management of perception economics, where they were managing the perception of the system. During that time, central banks started buying gold at a level no one has ever seen before, and they've continued to do so to the point where they own almost 20% of all the gold in the world. They've used the stupidity of a Western system through something called Gibson's paradox, the inverse relationship between zero-bound interest rates and the price of gold, real interest rates in gold. So they had to kill the canary in the mine shaft. Now, nobody ever challenged the West. Nobody did until right around that time. And they were using the West's ability to hold down the paper price with levered contracts to stand for delivery. And I truly do believe that someone got into this administration's ear and said, look, we have to put an end to this. We do, because this is happening, and it's happening in real time. You see, when the price is sold on paper in New York, it drives down the paper price. But then they can go long, they being the commercial banks here in the United States, go long in London to offset their balance sheet, make it look like everything's okay, and trade back and forth with one another warrants. You own it, I own it. You own it, I own it. And really very, very little physical ever was delivered, ever. Less than 1% of contracts stood for delivery my whole career, 35 years. That's changed. The nations in the global south, the BRICS in particular, and their allies, the way that they, I believe, have been setting the table for all of this is standing for delivery across the globe and shorting the paper price or letting the West do it, and then standing for delivery everywhere else. This is what is changing, and it's changing here too. The amount of deliveries that we have seen in New York are so far off that the chart, to me, you have the most well-informed traders on the planet that are doing something that nobody has ever seen before. And the only reason the rest of the world didn't bitch about what the West was doing to hold down the paper price, to make our bond market seem stronger than it was, to make our currencies seem stronger than they were, when you suppress interest rates to near nothing, that's where you start. The only reason they didn't bitch is they've been accumulating it ever since. Since right around that time, 2019, they really started buying it, right? And actually, let's say 2017, right 2 years before the BIS classified gold tier 1, and repatriating it and buying it ever since from both the Fed and the Bank of England, continuing to do so, continuing to purchase it using the suppression of the West. So you are right, it did not move as well as it was supposed to. And a lot of analysts point to that. They look at the war here and say, well, geez, gold doesn't have that correlation, I guess, to troubled times. And they point to the fact that, yes, oil is rising, I agree, which then moves the CPI up, which then brings in inflation. And, well, the Fed isn't going to raise interest rates, okay, or lower rates. So evidently gold only moves if the Fed lowers interest rates. But if you look at what happened, once they started to raise rates over 400 basis points in 1 year, what happened to gold? It went up in the face of rising interest rates. And it was $1,800 when that began. It's now almost 5,000. It's tripled. I guess my point is simply this, is that the West has had a very vested interest in maintaining a suppressed gold price to maintain the illusion of wealth, and you do that through suppressed interest rates. So I guess it's very difficult, I think, for me to rationalize the mainstream take on it, that it didn't perform the way it should, and it was counterintuitive to what everybody thought in inflation and all of these things. But if you take a step back and you take a look at it, let's go back 20 years ago. In 2005, price of a house was $240,000. Gold was $455 an ounce. That's 530 ounces. Today, the house is $500,000. It's doubled. Good investment. Gold earning no interest, doing nothing for the last 21 years, sitting under your mattress, has gone up fivefold, and no one notices. It buys you 5 houses. So even though it's not as flashy and visible in terms of its gain as many things are, like Bitcoin, like Nvidia, like Apple, it's held its own, and it's outperformed most things over a long stretch of time. I don't own it to become wealthy. I own it because it is wealth, and it does retain its purchasing power, just in a very kind of understated, very, very slow, methodical way. Sometimes not always the way we think. And if you are managing perception, if you are managing the price of gold because you've offshored your manufacturing, you have suppressed interest rates, you have all of these dynamics at work, the one thing you don't want to do is to see gold flying through, barriers and catching attention. You have the Western central banks, where 8 of them have maintained the largest concentrated short position of any commodity ever traded in the history, the COMEX and silver, and pretty damn close to gold. It's for a reason. And that's the part that I think needs to be addressed. It's the same thing that frightened me about Bitcoin when the COMEX decided to take a contract on Bitcoin. Folks in New York have a lot of power, and especially if it's under the guise of national interest. So I think it's important. I'm not a tinfoil hat conspiracy freak, but what I will tell you is there's 100% certainty that gold has been managed for a very long time by the West, and they're losing control of it now because of deliveries across the globe.
Yeah, deliveries, and thanks for breaking that down. And the reason why I ask is you made a really good point, and the point is that sometimes the price is just delayed, and so there's not. I don't want to say never, but almost never, like a 1-to-1 correlation in markets and prices and assets. So it's important to understand what the underlying mechanics and the drivers are, because I'm trying to understand what the direction is going to be in the future. So These things are catalysts, and if these things continue to happen, then the catalyst keeps going up. Doesn't mean it happens daily or weekly, right? It's like over long periods of time. And so, I'm just trying to kind of understand that. And you said something that I think actually hits this point really well, which is that price, if I'm just looking at price, Warren Buffett always warned about looking at price. He said, look at the value. But you said that price is a tool of misdirection. And instead of the price, we should be focusing on the vault and not the casino. Unpack that for us.
1,000%. Well, the best way of understanding that right now, I think you take a look at China. So in January and February, when the price of silver got its teeth kicked in, literally got its teeth kicked in, there are those out there calling it the Shanghai flip, where in February and in March, you saw the largest imports of silver in recorded history into China ever, as the price was getting decimated. As the price of gold was getting decimated in January, you had an $80 premium in Shanghai. They're still trying to get as much of it as they possibly can, where the price is not indicative of the demand. In February, on COMEX, where for 18 months since Trump won the election, delivery upon delivery upon delivery, billions and billions and billions and billions every single month, the mainstream's missed that completely. None of it matters. Nothing matters with price other than who the hell's standing for delivery. I'll give you my point. In February, in the United States, on COMEX, about 26 million ounces, just under, were delivered into the COMEX from various places around the globe. 39 million ounces left COMEX that same month. That's 2 million pounds of silver got on trucks with insurance and left. Who in God's green earth is doing that? If a 1,000-ounce bar weighs 70 pounds, roughly, 2 million pounds of silver in 1,000-ounce bars, 39 million ounces left. It will never come back. It would need to be reassayed and put back in at a high cost and a high time. Never going to happen. So my point is that as price was misdirecting the public, the biggest money on the planet was standing for delivery. And an interesting take is also the BIS, the Bank of International Settlements, came out in what I thought was kind of taking the CME group in the West to the woodshed and saying, look, This was structural. This was not fundamental. This crash had nothing to do with fundamentals. It was structural for two things. Number one, levered ETFs. Levered meaning 2-3 times leverage.
Always.
Need to be rebalanced the first week in January.
Yep.
Every single time. So you have to rebalance, which means they have to sell. At the same time, the CME group raised margins by 300%. Let me explain what that means. We typically have over 2 million ounces of silver in our warehouse, Mark, and on December 1st, it was roughly $15,000 to hedge 5,000 ounces. If I'm a speculator, I want to buy a contract, 15,000 in my margin account lets me control 5,000 ounces. It was about $60 then in December, so call it $300,000, 20 times leverage. Within 2 months, it was $54,000 to hedge that exact same amount. If you have 2 million ounces of silver in your warehouse, you better have 50 million in cash in a margin account just sitting there as collateral. So not only did the selling of the rebalancings push the price down and beget selling at the same time, they raised margins by 300%. If it just collapsed the price. So what did China do? Thank you. We'll take the 2 biggest months of delivery on recorded history because we don't use margin. And whoever bought the 26 million ounces delivered and 39 million ounces leaving, they're not standing for delivery using margin. In essence, it was structural. It was orchestrated. It was synthetic. It was not fundamental. The big money stood for delivery using that misdirection of price. And I think that's kind of what I mean. If price was really indicative of value, then you wouldn't see those kind of deliveries. You'd see more selling.